What up, everybody? What up, everybody? What up, everybody? It's AC Reviews the World, back at you with another video. This is episode 9. It's May 23rd, Friday. Off for the weekend, Memorial Day. You already know, but got a couple of things to go over today. Just catching up on everything that's happening throughout the week. I'm going to talk about the first thing we're going to talk about is Joe Biden's cancer diagnosis. So we're going to get into that. Also, the Israeli embassy shooting. We got to get into that. We got some stuff with more updates on the inmates that escaped. Just some videos of updates on, I don't know if anybody's been following it, but the mother who abandoned her kids in the house for a few years. So there's some updates to that that's been happening. So we got a good couple of things to go over and to digest, so we can review the world together, like what I always say. But remember to like and subscribe. Follow me on Instagram, Twitch. This is most likely going to be pre-recorded. Been having some trouble with going live lately. It's been not as up to quality that I like, so probably pre-record this one, go through the live, and then but hey, gotta do what we gotta do. Probably got to hardwire it in, but hey, let's jump right into it. Like I said, we're gonna start out with former President Joe Biden. No matter how you feel about the former president or how you feel about the current president, you just don't want to wish, especially cancer, on anyone. You don't want any kind of illness. So we just got to make sure we keep his family and him in our prayers, because the cancer is a scary thing. So, but like I said, let's jump right into it. We're going to watch this little short video, and then we're also going to go through and read some of the stuff that I found in the article, just to go deep dive into it more. But let's get right into it.
A cancer scare for former President Joe Biden. The 46th president was diagnosed Friday with prostate cancer that's metastasized to his bones, according to a statement from the former president's office. The statement says, quote, "While this represents a more aggressive form of the disease, the cancer appears to be hormone sensitive, which allows for effective management," end quote. The 82-year-old Biden and his family are reviewing treatment options with doctors, the statement concludes. Christiane Cordero, ABC News, Washington.
That is, it's awful, but I don't, just thinking about, did they just discover it now, or what? Was it already, when did they find it later and didn't tell us? But that, hey, we don't know if we'll ever find that out, but it is sad that prostate cancer, you always got to make sure you go to the doctor and get checked, especially when you get older, for especially prostate cancer. But that is crazy thing to think about, sad thing to think about. But there's a little article just to break it down a little more. Let's get into that. So this article says, former President Joe Biden was diagnosed with an aggressive form of prostate cancer, according to the statement from his personal office Sunday, and it has spread to his bones. Last week, Joe Biden was seen for a new finding of a prostate cancer node after experiencing increased urinary symptoms. On Friday, he was diagnosed with prostate cancer categorized by a Gleason score of 9, which metastasized to his bones. It continues, while this represents a more aggressive form of the disease, the cancer appears to be hormone sensitive, which allows for effective management, like what we seen in the little clip that they was talking about. Biden, 82, and his family reviewing treatment options. Cancer touches all of us, of course. Yeah. He added that he and his wife have learned that we are the strongest in the broken. We have learned that we are strongest in the broken places. Thank you for lifting us up in love and support. Oh, prostate cancer is very common. Prostate cancer can be assigned a grade known as a Gleason score based on what the cells look like under a microscope. A Gleason score of 9, which means it's the most aggressive form of prostate cancer. A professor of urology, oncology at the University of Pittsburgh Medical Center, who is also not involved in Biden case, said in an email. So a Gleason score. I know people were going crazy because I think Trump said stage 9, but I'm assuming he was thinking about a Gleason score of 9. But just all I can do is pray for the family, pray for Joe Biden, what he's going through. But it's a scary thing. But you just gotta go and get checked. That's the main thing. Just make sure you go and get checked. Now that's all we're going to talk about for Joe Biden. If anything else pops up that's noteworthy, of course we got to talk about it. But just remember to keep the former president in our prayers. No matter how you felt about him, you still want to pray for the family. No one needs to go through that. It's always a sad thing. Now we're going to jump into the Israeli embassy shooting. So we're going to watch a video on that. If I've heard correctly, it was a couple who was about to get married who had to go through this. But let's jump right into it.
As we come on the air, we do want to take you out to the nation's capital, giving you a live look at the U.S. Capitol here at 5:57 on the East Coast. We are keeping a close eye inside of the chambers as this Thursday morning, legislators, they are debating and discussing President Donald Trump's big, beautiful bill. Our content partners do tell us that a vote should be coming shortly. So once that gets underway, we will share that with you here on Live Now from Fox. As we are in the nation's capital, I do want to transition to another live look. This is the latest crime scene as investigations do continue this morning after the deadly shooting of 2 Israeli embassy staffers last night at the nation's capital. The victims were leaving an event held by the American Jewish Committee. We do have the latest photos of those victims. Metropolitan Police.
Yeah. Nice couple. Jesus. Sad they had to lose their life. It's always sad, but let's keep going.
Police department officials identifying the suspect as 30-year-old Elias Rodriguez of Chicago. Fox News' Gary Baumgarten joining us now to report on the latest.
Tolerate anti-Semitism.
Law enforcement in Washington, D.C. say 2 staff members of the Israeli embassy are dead after being shot while leaving an event Wednesday night at the Capitol Jewish Museum.
The suspect was observed pacing back and forth outside of the museum. He approached a group of 4 people, produced a handgun, and opened fire.
We heard between 10 to 15 gunshots, roughly.
Tragically, the male and female victims were a couple preparing to be engaged.
The young man purchased a ring this week with the intention of proposing to his girlfriend.
After the attack, witnesses in the museum saw a man run in before tensions flared.
The security guard happened to let this guy in. I guess they were thinking that he was a victim. He was in shock. And, some of the people at the event brought him water.
Yeah, I handed him water. I've never interacted with a murderer before.
He's like, somebody call the cops, bring the cops in.
So he just... They didn't know he was the murderer, and they just acted frantic like a victim and ran in there, gave him some water. Jesus.
Cops actually came in. He said, I did this. He said, "Sir, I'm unarmed." He put his hands up. He grabbed a red kufi out of his pocket and started the Free Palestine chants.
Once in handcuffs, police say the suspect told them where he stashed the gun, and they were able to recover it.
There is no active threat in our community.
In a post to Truth Social, President Donald Trump wrote in part, quote, "Hatred and radicalism have no place in the USA." This deadly shooting comes in the wake of increasing Israeli military operations across the Gaza Strip as IDF forces try to eliminate Hamas militants and free remaining hostages. Gary Baumgarten, Fox News.
All right, Gary, thank you so much for that detailed report. Again, taking you back out to the nation's capital, outside of that Israeli embassy. Just tragic news where 2 staff members of the Israeli embassy were killed. We do want to continue to follow the very latest developments. Now checking in with our content partners over at Fox 35 Orlando as they speak with Fox News correspondent Doug Luzader.
Capital has left 2 Israeli embassy workers dead, and it has raised fears of escalating violence potentially around the world. Fox's Doug Luzader joining us live from Washington this morning. And first of all, Doug, thanks for being here. And this is such a heartbreaking story. What do we know about these victims?
Well, police say that this all happened just after 9 o'clock last night. There was an event at the the Capitol Jewish Museum, which is actually.
Now, let me say something first of all. This protesting leading to violence, especially death, never the answer. Any kind of violence, if you're trying to make your point, is never the answer. Needs to be locked up for life, thrown away the key. It's tragic. Tragic. Let's watch a little bit more of this video. I don't know if we'll watch the whole thing, but we want to understand everything that's happening.
Actually, just a few blocks away from the U.S. Capitol building, this couple walking out of that museum was gunned down. Now, whether they were specifically targeted, it's not clear. But as the gunman was taken into custody, the suspected gunman, he was yelling "Free, free Palestine," and police say that that chant continued even after he was taken into custody. So, you know, the motive seems pretty evident there. Whether these individuals themselves were specifically targeted beyond their association, that the fact that they were coming out of this museum isn't entirely clear. We're still in early stages here, but just given what's going on right now with Israel and Gaza and the protests we've seen, the anti-Israel protests we've seen around the country, this obviously is getting a lot of attention around the globe. And what we're hearing from Israel right now is that they're stepping up security at their facilities around the world in response to what happened here in Washington last night.
Yeah, just a young couple, heartbreaking to see their photos. We understand that apparently they were about to get engaged. So we do understand that they were a couple.
Imagine coming out of the museum with your future fiance that you want to make your future fiance, and someone comes up, pulls out guns and starts shooting. Jesus. Make sure you got to make sure you're able to protect yourself at all times. I mean, a lot of things are going to happen where you can't predict what's going to happen, or it comes out spontaneously, but we can at least try to make sure that we have some form of protection. Jesus, it's truly tragic.
What do we know about the alleged shooter, Doug? I heard from Chicago. Is that right?
That's correct. That's what police are telling us. 30 years old, arrested here, and you know, they say that he was spotted kind of pacing outside the museum, but they don't have prior interactions with him that we know of. So, you know, that aspect of this still remains something of a.
Most likely, he was going back and forth. He was either working up the courage, or he was either waiting for a certain victim that he was looking for. I don't know if he was looking for these two or not, like they said, but you know, you're either pacing, either building up courage or waiting for someone.
A mystery.
And Doug, moving over to the big beautiful bill, we've been talking a lot about that. Lawmakers.
Well, that's all for that they're going to talk about. They're going to get into the Trump bill that he's trying to pass, but we're not going to talk about that. It is absolutely crazy what is going to happen what can happen when someone disagrees with what's going on, and you might not even have anything to do with the whole situation, but your life can be ended just because someone is trying to violently protest what's going on. Your life gets risked. Jesus. But we'll keep everyone updated on what's happening and what's going on with the whole investigation. They got the person, so there's no threat or anything out there. Maybe we might hear more of the motive or more what the killer was thinking, but at the end of the day, he needs to stay in jail, stay behind bars, because it's crazy. Now we're going to get into the Mexican Navy ship that ran into the Brooklyn Bridge. You've probably seen that all around. But so we're going to jump straight into it so we can understand it. Let's get into it.
New questions tonight after a ship crashed into New York City's iconic Brooklyn Bridge, killing 2 sailors.
It's not going to hit the bridge.
Those along the river watched in horror, some running away, as the Mexican Navy training ship collided with the bridge around 8:20 p.m.
What is going on? Said it was a training ship? Before I say anything, the main thing we need to do is keep the victims and the families and the traumatized people in our prayers, like I always say. But if it's a training ship, they need some more training. Something's happening. Something went terribly wrong. I don't know who was the supervisor. I don't know how this whole thing was in, but something went terribly wrong.
The Brooklyn Bridge is a critical part of New York's infrastructure, connecting Manhattan and Brooklyn, and a major tourist attraction.
Going to an all hands. They have multiple serious patients coming.
Mayor Eric Adams confirming early this morning that 2 of the 277 people on board died.
Our hearts go out to the family members, and many family members are going to be traveling here from Mexico.
A Mexican official confirming one of those killed was America Yamilet Sanchez. At least 22 others were hurt, according to the Mexican Navy. Moments before the crash, many sailors seen standing on the masts. A tugboat was seen on camera.
We got to back that up a little bit more. That is crazy. And these are the parts that fail. Oh, my God.
A tugboat was seen on camera around the time of the crash. It's unclear right now what its involvement was, if any. The mayor says a mechanical mishap made the vessel lose power, and the river's strong current pushed the ship backward.
Because of the current, it looks like it ended up under the Brooklyn Bridge, and that's where the tragedy occurred, the mass.
Dramatic video shows some people dangling in the air after impact. The boat was on display in New York Seaport and on its way to Iceland. Those plans put on hold now. Officials say the nearly 142-year-old bridge was not seriously damaged.
There are many more questions than answers as to how the accident occurred and whether it could have been prevented.
A lot of questions. I need to know if that could have been prevented, but that is insane.
The National Transportation Safety Board is investigating with the New York City Police Department as they try to figure out what exactly went wrong.
Maya Eaglin is in Lower Manhattan, right near where that damaged ship is. Maya, what is next for officials here?
Hallie, we're hearing from officials that they're working on sending some of the surviving crew members back to Mexico and finding a new location for this ship so authorities can start conducting a full investigation and repairs. Hallie.
Thanks for watching. Stay updated.
That is insane. So we're going to look at one more video about this. We want to get it from another perspective. A little more recent video. So let's jump right into that.
We have new reporting here after that deadly boat crash right into the Brooklyn Bridge. Chilling video here showing the masts of that Mexican Navy ship snapping into pieces. Nearly 300 sailors on the ship on a training mission. 2 of them were killed, several others recovering from injuries tonight, and there are many questions about how this happened. Here's Gio Benitez.
Tonight, growing questions about what caused that catastrophic ship crash into the Brooklyn Bridge, killing 2 people, injuring 19 more. Stunning videos capturing the moment of impact Saturday night.
Insane. Oh my God.
This one filmed by someone on the bridge. Late today, officials confirming there was no significant damage to the iconic bridge. The NTSB says the Mexican Navy ship carrying nearly 300 people on a training mission departed a Manhattan pier around 8:20 Saturday night with the help of a tugboat. Sailors seen lining the towering masts.
So that tugboat was helping them. That's what they was talking about in the last video. Jesus.
The ship reversing into the East River when it started to pick up speed.
We are going to be accessing all the different electronic data to determine at what point the vessel began accelerating.
4 minutes later, around 8:24 p.m., the crew requesting assistance from more tugboats. And roughly 45 seconds after those calls, the ship hitting the bridge. All three masts snapping like sticks, sailors left dangling. That tugboat appeared to try to steer the ship, called the Cuauhtémoc, south, but it kept drifting north towards the bridge. Experts pointing to videos like this, showing a possible wake, suggesting the engines were pushing it faster right into the bridge.
That indicates that there's some sort of propelling force. So it does indicate that the ship is coming astern and actually driving itself toward the Brooklyn shore and the bridge.
And David, it's still not clear if a mechanical issue played a role in this crash. The NTSB is now waiting on Mexican officials to give them permission to board this ship and interview the crew. David.
All right, Gio Benitez reporting tonight. Gio, thanks as always.
And new tonight, another person.
That is it for that. Oh my God, I can't imagine being up there standing on that. I mean, I would never be standing on that, but you're standing up there, normal procedures, and run right into the Brooklyn Bridge. Jesus, a lot of death. We need to just pray for the world at this point. Jesus. We'll keep updated on more what they find out about the exact problems that went on with the ship, what exact malfunctions happened, if they're going to hold anybody responsible. That's the main thing. Who is going to be held responsible for these death stories? Is just the ship's malfunction and this tragic accident, but it's very insane. Now we're going to get into the inmates who escaped. So if you weren't paying attention to what's been happening, 10 inmates escaped. I think there's still 3 out on the loose. There's actually, I've seen one of my friends pointed this out to me. They have I don't know what betting app this is. They got a bet to see which inmate is going to stay out the longest, which is insane. But it appears that they've been catching people who have been helping the inmates. And now some of these are murderers, but there's always going to be someone who's willing to help them. But man, it's crazy. Some of the women helping the men. I think it's so far 3 women that have all helped the man escape. So, hey, some of these women be down for anything. Hey, down for ride or die. But hey, let's jump right into that video so we can see the updates. But remember to like and subscribe. AC Reviews the World. Let's keep reviewing the world. But let's get right into this video with the women helping these inmates now.
Has been arrested for allegedly helping an Orleans Parish inmate escape after his escape. That is as we near a full week since that jailbreak.
And with no other escapees found today, we're combing through video evidence to track their movements. Good evening and thanks for joining us. I'm Devin Bartolotta.
And I'm Sharice Gibson. 5 of those 10 inmates are still on the loose tonight as we learn more about a Slidell woman now in custody. She becomes the 4th to face charges.
That includes a maintenance worker at the jail and 2 other women also accused of helping after they made it past OJC's walls. Lily Cummings joins us in studio now with more on these breaking developments.
Ride or dies.
Well, Devin and Sharice, less than an hour ago, we learned that 59-year-old Connie Whedon of Slidell was arrested. Officials say she was in contact with Jermaine Donald before and after the escape. They also believe she gave him cash and a cell phone. Right now, Donald is one of those 5 inmates still on the run. Meanwhile, bond was set today for 2 others arrested earlier this week. I spent time this evening looking deeper into their connection to the inmates they helped.
2 women have been arrested for helping Orleans Parish inmates after they escaped.
What is with women helping these people. I mean, maybe it's former partners, could be family members, but don't come looking for me. You done escaped prison now. And gave you how much they offering? Like 5 bands? Yeah, don't come to me, man. I'm trying to be a law-abiding citizen, so don't come looking for me. But let's finish up this video.
Nearly a week ago, our investigators learned 38-year-old Corvante Baptiste of Slidell is the aunt of escapee Corey Boyd. Investigators say Baptiste was in contact with Boyd via phone and social media and helped him get food while he was hiding. Boyd was recaptured Tuesday evening in the 1400 block of Iberville. We've now learned that the apartment he was found in belonged to his grandmother, but she claims she didn't know he was there. Boyd's grandmother has not been arrested and so far faces no charges. Meanwhile, 32-year-old Courtney Harris's connection to the 2 inmates she's accused of helping remains a mystery. State police say she
helped 2 inmates? They had to come. Either she knew one of them, the other one followed along. But that is crazy.
Drove them around New Orleans and was in contact with one over the phone. Court records show she helped Leo Tate and Jermaine Donald, who are still on the run. Now authorities say both women are booked in the Plaquemines Parish Jail. On Thursday via video.
Welcome to jail. Hey, you ain't been here before, sorry about it, but ain't nothing to say. Got caught up trying to help. Now you in jail with the rest of them.
Call, they learned their bonds: $1 million for Baptiste and $2.5 million for Harris. They face
2.5 is since she helped 2 people. That is crazy. 2.5. So you got to have 10%. 10%. Yeah, it's over with. You got to put down 10%. Well, I'm assuming that's everywhere, but at least 10%. 100,000. 250,000. You got to put up the house, but yeah, that's over. You standing there now.
1 felony count each of accessories after the fact.
And we are working to learn more about that latest arrest, but for anyone convicted of accessory after the fact, they could be fined up to $500 and face up to 5 years in prison. Sharice.
Lily, thank you.
5 years? 5 years for helping people? Nah.
Meanwhile, for investigators, it is a race to sift through this evidence, hoping something will hold clues to where those inmates who are still out might be.
Yeah, from street cameras to residential surveillance, our Eleanor Tabone puts together a timeline of the movements.
Now, if I remember right, they had like 7 hours. 7 hours from them escaping to them people actually coming to look for them, or they found out about it. I might be mistaken, but yeah, you got a lot of distance you can cover in 7 hours.
We know so far.
Authorities say at 12:22 in the morning, inmates were seen jarring.
Okay, now this is good. They're going to get into the breakdown of each hour and everything to see, so we can see exactly what happened. Let's get into it.
One of the jail sliding doors open. At 12:43 a.m., the inmates entered that cell. 10 inmates escaped through a hole in the wall behind a toilet. Pictures show what the cell looked like prior to the escape and what it looked like.
So you can see they cut a good chunk they cut rebar out, so just enough so they can squeeze through squeeze through it. That is, where did they get the power tools to cut some rebar? That's the biggest. Is that rebar? It's not really rebar. It's more just like a steel rod, but that's insane.
After. At 1 a.m., they were caught on camera exiting the Orleans Parish Justice Centre using an adjacent loading dock door. They then went down a road behind the OPSO building. At 1:19 a.m., they were seen scaling the fence along I-10. After breaking out of jail, scaling barbed wire fencing, jumping a concrete barrier and crossing multiple lanes of interstate traffic, the inmates then made it to this side. Authorities say they then shed their clothes and made their way through the city. Just after 2 a.m, these 3 inmates were seen walking down the 800 block of Barone Street in the CBD.
Yeah, cut right there.
You hear them say, cut right there.
They look, I mean, yeah, they shed their clothes and everything, but they
800 block of Barone Street in the CBD.
Yeah, cut right there.
You hear them
They
say,
look like they
cut
should be
right
in
there,
prison.
and they turn down an alleyway, heading away from Barone. Another angle shows the team walking away from the camera down the alley. The alley they're walking down ends at Plaza Tower. Just before 10 a.m., 9 hours after the escape, two inmates were seen on Project Nola's facial recognition cameras in the French Quarter. One of them, Kendall Miles. Around 11:30 a.m., surveillance shows Miles being apprehended.
You heard what they said, facial recognition cameras. You can't get away. Facial recognition cameras, they're looking for you.
After he was found hiding under a car at the Hotel Monteleone parking garage. 5 inmates are still on the run. If you see them, authorities say don't approach them. Instead, call 911 or call Crime Stoppers. Eleanor Tabone, WWL, Louisiana.
Once again, 5 of Friday's escaped inmates are still on the streets tonight. If you know anything, call Crime Stoppers.
Now, there's one more video we're going to get into. It's just basically it gives more detail about that last third woman who was helping them. So we're going to get into that so we can actually see her face.
Third person has been arrested for allegedly helping one of the inmates who broke out of the Orleans Parish Jail. This latest arrest prompting another warning from law enforcement officials to not help the men who are still on the run. Louisiana State Police say.
Do you think they're going to listen? Truly, come on now. Do you think they're going to listen?
Connie Whedon of Slidell was in contact with Jermaine Donald. They say she sent him cash via a cell phone up after his escape. NOPD Superintendent Ann Kirkpatrick, who remember is not in charge of the jail but is a part of the massive manhunt, says she believes more arrests are coming and soon.
Enough people are also reporting accomplices that you're looking at prison. And is that worth it to you? Okay, so if you
not at all
cooperate with us, I'm sure that the criminal justice process will look at that more favorably.
And Kirkpatrick says police believe 3 of the 5 men still at large are in Louisiana.
Okay, so
remember the
3 left. 3 left out of there, and there's a, sad to say it, but there's a bet going out to see who's going to be the last man in there, but last man standing.
Inmates who have been captured so far were found near the jail and within city limits. We're also learning the connection 2 women have to some of those inmates. A judge set bond for Corvante Baptiste at $1 million. In court, we learned she allegedly communicated with her nephew, Corey Boyd, while in jail, and also helped him get food after his escape. Then Courtney Harris.
Money and food leads to a $1.1 million bond, and you behind bars dressed out. That's crazy.
Had her bond set at $2.5 million. She is accused of helping her boyfriend Leo Tate and Jermaine Donald before the escape and then coordinating transportation and money for them after the fact.
And Morgan, as we hit one.
Oh yeah. She was down for the ride the whole way. Helped him while he was in jail, while he got out. She was down for the ride. So, and he still ain't got caught, and she did. That is crazy. That is absolutely crazy. Now, we're going to keep updates to see the last 3, because they said 3 more inmates are out there. So we're going to keep updates together to see when everybody's getting caught. Because hopefully they all get caught, because they are people who deserve to be in jail. And it's a crazy world out here. People helping people escape, helping them while they get out. Don't come looking for me. That's all I can say. But that's crazy. Now we're going to pivot a little bit. Now this happened. This is in Atlanta. So this next thing we're going to get into, title of it was a man accused of murdering his mother. That is something that we didn't even think about. But let's get into it. Short little video. Okay. Let's get right into it.
Back here in Georgia. A man on the run tonight accused of murdering a mother of 2 at a home in Gwinnett County. It happened on Hillsborough Drive in Snellville.
Tonight, police need your help finding the killer. Fox 5's Christopher King spoke with the victim's family. He's live at the Gwinnett County Police Department's Southside Precinct. Christopher?
Courtney Ross, investigators say Frederick Taylor killed Tiffany Trim, then took...
Oh, okay, see, they make the titles sound crazy. Murdering mother. Okay, see, that make me think he murdered his own mother. See, they trying to trick somebody. But let's get into it.
Off tonight, we speak with her brother. He wants justice.
Words can't really explain how I feel right now.
The pain is so great, William Cartwright can't describe it.
Trying to keep everything together, especially my mom, my father, and my little sister. I mean, it's been real tough.
Cartwright's older sister, Tiffany Trim, was killed on April 30th inside this home on Hillsborough Drive in Snellville.
It's hard. It's going to be harder moving forward.
Gwinnett County Police say a dispute broke out between Trim and this man, Frederick Taylor.
Man, got an air
tense
potty.
Moments escalated.
Some kind of domestic argument between them ended up in violence and ended up in the victim be deceased.
2 children unrelated to the victim were home at the time. They were not hurt physically.
And it was some juveniles that were living in the home that were the ones who ended up calling 911 in this incident.
Police have not released how Trim
That
died.
is crazy.
Investigators.
That is crazy. You finding your mother and you got to call the police. That is crazy.
Say Taylor took off running.
His current whereabouts are unknown.
Oh, she was a great person.
Cartwright says Tiffany worked for the Postal Service and held several jobs. She was a mom of a 14-year-old son and a 10-year-old daughter. Cartwright calls his big sister a loving person who sometimes cared more about others than herself.
Someone you can talk to easily and come to any problem, you know, she'll help you through it.
Now he wants the suspect behind bars.
Hopefully he gets caught.
Once again, police identify that suspect as Frederick Taylor. He's 39 years old. He was last known to live in Lawrenceville. He's now charged with murder and weapons offenses. Police say do not approach him. If you see him, call 911 immediately. The family has a GoFundMe page. We'll have a link to it on our website. We're live at the...
Never know what's going to happen in this life. Never. You be surprised at what despicable act somebody could commit, but again, just keep the family in the prayers, but yes. That was just something quick to look at. We got to make sure we're looking at everything all around, but it's a lot of crazy things going on. A lot of crazy things, it's crazy to think about, but just gotta try to protect yourself. That's all you can do. All you can do at the end of the day. Now we're gonna roll into the Palm Spring fertility clinic it had a massive explosion caused by someone, but we're going to get all into that. So got a few videos to watch. Vandalizing. I have to say this with everything. Everything's been happening with the Teslas. Vandalizing or destroying something because you don't agree with the movement that they are participating in is not the answer. Not the answer at all. Can't imagine all the damage that oh my God. Fertility camp, IVF, that's one of the good things I would think, but someone disagrees with it and caused all this damage. But let's get right into the video so we can deep dive and try to make sense of it, which it's hard to make sense of some of the things that's happening in this world. Let's get into it.
Good afternoon. We are coming on the air, streaming at this hour with breaking news out of Palm Springs, where a massive explosion took place outside a fertility clinic right across the street from a major hospital in Palm Springs. Investigators and firefighters now combing through the massive debris field right now. This is a live look from Air 7 of that fertility clinic, and you can see
the whole
there is
building
extensive damage to this building. We believe the car was parked on the left side of your screen in the parking lot, but the force of it sent part of that building out into the street. That is actually Palm Canyon Drive on that side of the road. So this is the American Reproductive Center.
He was trying to cause damage.
It happened,
There's nothing.
About 11 o'clock today. It is on Indian Canyon Drive. That's the side of the parking lot, but I believe the road on the right side is Palm Canyon Drive. That's the road that takes you directly into downtown Palm Springs. And we see
that part of the car?
Of what looks like a truck. You can see the front axle there on the right, and it looks like a box truck back towards the left, unless that's a car that was planted up against the side of a dumpster or a truck. But there, it looks like the vehicle that was involved here, at least one of them, parked in the parking lot, hitting this fertility clinic, which again is right across the street from Desert Regional Medical Center. You can see right there over the doorway, American Reproductive Center, ARC. We have heard from those who are running this clinic who say all of the eggs, embryos, everything that the fertile storage that they have in their building was okay and saved. We do believe one person was killed in this, as we see some law enforcement tech going through that is just looks like a small vehicle, a car that they are now looking through to see exactly how this played out. We know the FBI is investigating this. The governor is aware of the situation happening in Palm Springs. He says his office is monitoring the situation and will continue to. A law enforcement source telling ABC News they believe that the suspect in this case was killed. We also believe 5 other people were hurt in this explosion, and there across the street is the hospital. And you can see the force of this, shattering windows at nearby businesses, and this is the hospital. This is
across the street? That is crazy.
Desert Regional. And on a second floor,
doesn't care who he hurt
of a long
I don't know
outdoor
who they hurt.
Second multi-story patio, those windows were shattered as well. People all around Palm Springs said they could feel the concussion, the wave. They could hear this blast and feel it in the ground. That source telling ABC News there's also an active search right now to see if there are any other explosive devices planted around this scene or around the city of Palm Springs. Once that search is completed, investigators say then we will learn more about exactly what happened.
New information is emerging.
So that was it for that little video. Now we're going to get into more details about the suspect that they have. So let's get right into that. But that's crazy. They're planting explosives. The force of it messed up the building across the street. That is crazy. That is absolutely crazy. But let's jump right into it.
Tonight about the Palm Springs bombing suspect, 25-year-old Guy Edward Bartkus, his apparent nihilistic ideations and history with explosives. The FBI is also investigating a manifesto purportedly written by Bartkus, and if the recent death of his best friend may have been a catalyst for the attack.
KTLA's Mary Beth McDade is here now with the unfolding details. MB?
Sandy and Micah, authorities believe that this was a targeted attack against the IVF facility and are looking into anti-natalist views as the possible motivation. A disturbing portrait is emerging of the Palm Springs fertility clinic bombing suspect. 25-year-old Guy Bartkus may have been driven to carry out one of the largest explosions in Southern California history because of an anti-natalist ideology. Investigators are looking into a 30-minute online manifesto believed to belong to Bartkus. Here is some of that purported manifesto where he rambles.
This man wrote a manifesto? Oh, he was looking to kill everybody and himself.
On about why he bombed the clinic.
Basically, it just comes down to I'm angry that I exist, and that's nobody got my consent to bring me here.
He goes on to say he's not a life addict and IVF.
Did this man just say he's upset that he's even alive and no one gave me my consent? No one let me give my consent for being born into this world. Now, having children is a very selfish thing. The kids don't ask to be here. So that's why you need to make sure you take care of your kids. But a kid, or I don't even know how old he is. Did they say how old he was? Let's back it up just a tad bit.
Because of an anti-natalist ideology. Investigators are looking into a 30-minute online manifesto believed to belong to Bartkus. Here is some of that purported manifesto where he rambles on about why he bombed the clinic.
He looks like a young
Basically, it just comes down to I'm angry that I exist, and that, nobody got my consent to bring me here.
He goes on to say he's not a life addict, and IVF is the epitome of pro-life ideology. The 29 Palms man also apparently discussed his views in online chat rooms with like-minded people. On Barkis's website, which has since been taken down, he talked about the death of a Washington woman named Sophie, who he called his best friend. Her TikTok seems to indicate she shared similar anti-life views.
Children can't consent to being born, therefore it's not really cool to do.
Sophie.
What? So it's not cool to have children because they can't consent to having children. So does she think the world we just need to stop reproducing? I'm confused on what her point is. Like, of course they can't give consent because they're not born yet, but I don't understand it.
Sophie reportedly committed suicide last month by having her boyfriend shoot her while she slept. Sophie and Barkis had apparently agreed that if one of them died, the other would soon follow.
It's a very small, extreme group of individuals that actually believe in this. They call themselves
gotta be very small.
Anti-natalists. They're anti-population. They're anti-living, if you will.
The suspect's estranged father, who spoke to us at his Yucca Valley home, says his son was basically a good kid, but was fascinated with fire and once burned the family's house down.
After they burned the house down.
Fascinated with fire and accidentally burnt the family's house down. I don't know what to say. That is crazy.
He started changing a little bit. He started playing with it like fire. And I was too strict for him, so I think he wanted to stay with Mom when the divorce came through.
Too strict. It sounded like he wasn't strict enough to me, but hey. We don't know what was happening, but that is crazy. Burnt the family house down?
Well, he doesn't know what motivated his son, who died in the blast. He's heartbroken. He'll never get to ask.
We hadn't talked in over 10 years. So it's wrong.
It's no matter what your kid did, it is your kid at the end of the day. So you're gonna feel heartbroken that they done something like this. If you, but did the parent raise them wrong? I don't know. I don't know. But jeez, let's finish up this video.
No, I won't see it again.
Well, officials tell us that FBI agents were back investigating in the suspect's neighborhood again today. And until the bombing, they say Barkis was not on their radar. Micah?
It's I don't understand. I truly don't understand what they are upset about. Anti-populationist, that sounds crazy to me. I didn't know, excuse me. I didn't know that was an actual thing. It's and someone lost their life too. Well, I think both the explosion, person who made the explosion, and someone else lost their life, but I'll double check that when we give some updates on everything. But it's crazy to think about that. Someone would go through and blow themselves up. And they said the girlfriend, I don't know if that was his girlfriend, best friend, but she wanted her boyfriend to kill her in her sleep. There's a lot of mental problems going on in that. Just got to make sure. Jesus. I don't even know what to say. It's give them more help, but can that be helped? I mean, that's insane. But let's jump into the next one. So the next thing we're going to be looking at, let's see. The next thing we're going to be looking at, we're going to watch a video on So this teen gets caught with a machine gun and a ski mask. So it's a little body cam footage. So we're going to get right into that. And I think it was 19 years old, already catching felonies. It's insane, but life change in a millisecond. But let's get right into it and let's watch it.
24. An officer pulled over a vehicle for an exhaust making excessive noise.
Hello, Deputy Road, Lake County Sheriff's Office. How you doing? The reason I'm stopping you is your exhaust. You can't have your exhaust any louder than the way it comes from the factory. You got your driver's license, registration, insurance, and
I never understood the wick hairstyle. I know Kodak made it popular. I think it was Kodak. But that could have never been my thing. I'm a professional man myself in the professional corporate ladder, so I don't even. But let's keep going.
Okay, I got you.
I say it's a ticket for that, for the exhaust?
You could. I can tell you right now I'm not giving you a ticket for it. Are you the registered owner of this vehicle? Okay. Put the car in park, shut it off for me. Can you hand me the keys real quick? Yeah. All right, just sit tight. So it smells like 31. The passenger has a big bulge in his pocket. When he pulled out his wallet, he was trying to like hold something in there. Is that the keys of the car? If you want to take him and search it, because it reeks of weed.
That's all it takes. That's all it takes.
What's up?
For what?
Huh?
For what?
My mom.
She's just.
I'll talk to her in a minute.
Man said my mom want to talk?
Do you mind if I pat you down for weapons or anything?
Say again?
Do you mind if I pat you down for weapons or anything?
Yeah.
Just turn around for me. What's in your pocket right now? Keys?
This is a charger.
Do you mind taking it out for me, put it on the hood? You want to just have a seat on the bumper for me?
Can I step out the car, sir? This a traffic spot. Alright, so what I'm trying to figure out is...
You have anything on you?
No, sir. Come on.
No weapons,
No.
nothing illegal on you?
Yes, keys. Stop touching me there, sir.
Come over here.
I am. I'm going to stay there. Come over here.
This man tucking his shit in his pocket.
We are here. You don't have to touch me, sir. Put your hands on the car.
0. Stop.
I'm not doing that, sir. I'm not doing nothing.
Don't move. He's got something clipped on the front of his pants.
I saw it.
How old are you?
Huh?
How old are you?
19 years old, sir.
That's already a charge. 19 years old, carrying a concealed weapon. It's a charge right there.
We got any other weapons on you?
No, sir.
That's all you got on you?
That's all.
Oh. Y'all see that? Let's back it up a tad bit. Back it up just a tad bit. Now, if you don't know what that thing is on the back of a Glock, that's 10 years. I think it's 10 years. That's a switch. Automatic 10 years. These YNs now, they are carrying them, looking to cause as much damage as they can. They don't care. It's sad. Very sad. But let's keep going.
Can I ask a question, dude?
In a minute.
I get my baby mom number. I get number. I get my baby mom number.
He said, ain't he 19?
For what?
He asked him, 19-year-old, can I get my baby mama number? He's producing at a young age, carrying switches.
No, the same, right? 100%. Yeah. You're 19 years old and you got a handgun on you.
Reaching in your pocket.
Huh?
And you're reaching in your pocket while you're walking towards deputies.
I don't understand that. I mean, I do understand it because
Not good.
I don't think that's not a charge.
I'm saying, but I'm not bothering anybody. I ain't messing with no one. Don't matter. I know I'm saying, y'all say we got pulled for, this what I'm saying? Y'all say we got pulled for what? What did we get pulled? He's the one that pulled you over. Okay? You're 19 years old. You got a handgun in your waistband that I'm pretty sure has a switch on it.
Switch on it.
Yeah.
You heard how he said that? Switch.
Somebody said switch.
Yep. You don't know what that is?
Nah, no, that's not.
Nah, I don't know what that is. He know what it is. He know for sure what that is.
I can't see my phone. No.
That's a ski mask? Rolling papers?
Who you on the phone with? Your mom?
Sister.
Friend?
Sister.
Sister, okay.
2783, like the blackmail passenger is the one that's tanking. You run a criminal history and him looking for felonies.
Got gloves? Oh yeah, he was trying to hit something.
Is it your brother or anything? Friend? Acquaintance?
Boyfriend.
Boyfriend? Okay.
Can I walk to her or she can walk over me?
Not right.
Boyfriend.
Can she walk right there?
I mean, she's got a
Charlotte
right to get
Taylor.
out right there in that
Boyfriend.
parking lot. But as far as coming over here, she needs to hold up right now. Hold up one second.
Stay over there. You have a test kit available?
Oh yeah, found something.
We'll give us a second. We talk to you, I promise.
Hey, babe. Can I get y'all a number? Both of y'all. Can y'all write me down their numbers? Not right now. Regina.
That police guard going crazy.
Regina.
Maybe the police guard.
So we pulled him out. He has a loaded handgun in his waistband. He's not old enough to have a handgun. He's also got what looks like crack in his pocket and a bunch of weed in his pocket. Ski mask and gloves.
Crack
so it doesn't
and
look
weed?
super good. Okay?
I'm just being real though. What gave y'all the cause to bother me though? If y'all already stopped her for traffic, this is a traffic stop, so I know my rights. I'm just saying, what did y'all bother me for though?
Because
And I'm just need everything from camp.
because the car smells like marijuana.
Okay,
and we're
well,
pulling you and her out of it to go search it because it smells like marijuana. And when you stepped out, that deputy noticed you had a handgun stuffed in your waistband or pocket or whatever, and that's why you're putting handcuffs. Okay?
Like, honestly, none of anything that would or can be in the car is not my sister's problem. She was just the driver.
And she's not in trouble for anything other than she's probably going to get a ticket for a driver's license. That's it.
Do me a favor and have a seat.
Make sure you got nothing else on him. I ain't got nothing else.
Nothing else?
Nothing in your hood? Excuse me, sir, can y'all do this? Just one thing for me to do, at least. I ain't been a jackass asking you guys. Can y'all just get my can y'all get both of their numbers for me? We'll do that.
Sure. Have a seat.
Can you get my mom number on my phone for me too? It's either y'all let me do it or the county jail let me do it.
Yeah. Is the camera on?
2783, like copy of 0 number around.
Calling our friends at ATF.
With hollow points in it, too.
And he has gloves and a ski mask.
He was looking to do anything.
I'll
Crazy.
let me be up there in just a second.
19-year-olds, got a felony, baby mama. So that's not his baby mama? That's just his girlfriend? What is
I ain't
this?
doing. I'm just trying to. Huh? What are you doing? Get over here. So I'm not listening. So I'm not trying to. I'm literally.
No, listen. You're not going to be talking to anybody. Quit beating on the windows. Okay?
Okay, so let's break down all his charges. Possession of a machine gun, so the switch. Possession of crack cocaine. Possession of a firearm by a convicted felon. Possession of ammo by a convicted felon. Possession of a concealed firearm. possession of a firearm while in commission of a felony, and resisting without violence. Resisting without violence. I think that was redundant, but resisting without violence. That's crazy. But that is it for that video. I just wanted to, I seen that pop up on my feed, so I wanted us to watch that video, especially. That was crazy. Young kids nowadays are getting more and more entangled in stuff that they shouldn't be in. It's tragic, but it's a crazy world we live in. Now, the next thing we're going to get into, you probably seen it. I think it was about, what is it, three or so months ago. A mother they basically found kids abandoned in a house by the mother, and they've been there for years. I think it was years, but we're going to get into the video, but it's tragic. Abandoning your kids for any amount of time is crazy. And then just having them in a house, and the house looked crazy, disgusting, feces, and nobody was taking baths. It was crazy. But we're going to jump right into that video and another video after that, because she showed up in court. So we definitely got to see all that. So we're going to jump right into it.
Well, the pictures are hard to look at. Police in Pontiac say 3 children were found living alone in deplorable conditions after discovering their mother had abandoned them for years. Our Victor Williams is following the story for us tonight. Victor,
abandoned kids
we're learning
for years.
that mother has been arrested. What else can you tell us?
Yeah, that's right. The mother has been arrested, Pam, but we're told that these kids were actually inside of this house for years, at least since 2021. This is the house behind me that has that orange sticker right there on the window, but we're told these kids were only 12, 13, and 15. Now, authorities, they said that the mom would drop off food from time to time, but she's a 34-year-old woman that's now being held at the Oakland County Jail with a case now being turned
living her best life out there. She dropped
We
some.
are expecting charges to come in the next few days or so, but the only reason authorities ever stepped in the first place was because the landlord actually called 911. He contacted deputies after not hearing from the mother since about December, and that's what started this welfare check. Take a look at some of this video from inside of the place. We're told that the house was just so unsanitary that evidence techs, they had to wear hazmat suits in order to investigate. Now, we're talking about piles of garbage in rooms as high as 4 feet tall, human feces overflowing in the toilet, and then also the bathtubs. Apparently, they were living on that food that people would bring nearby.
God, that is crazy.
Also, strangers would sometimes bring that food up to the door. Now, also, we are being told that the mother had not spoken to the 2 girls that were in there for years, but she would go and actually speak to the son from time to time. The kids were not in school. They actually spent their entire time at the home watching TV and then playing video games. The conditions in the house were so bad that the kids had to sleep on the floor. The boy had a mattress, and the girls had to sleep on pizza boxes.
Oh,
so we're actually going to go and hear from Sheriff Michael Bouchard on what these kids are now having to go through, as well as what they now have to bounce back from.
Throw the mother around, throw her in jail and throw away the key. That is crazy. There's no way. Banning your kid for years. You just drop off food. You don't even talk to the other kids. Just talk to one of them. And then you know you can smell that house from standing outside. As soon as they open the door, just a waft of fecal matter. It's crazy. That's yeah. She needs to be in jail for life.
Our first focus is in trying to make sure these kids get what they need to begin the process of moving forward. The second very important part of this is, how did 3 kids fall through the cracks so terribly? How did the community, relatives, the schools, no one knew to reach out to us?
Where the other family members? Where are they at?
And so that's going to be a big part of what I've already directed our investigations to figure out.
Now, while all of this...
That is crazy. Oh, my God.
What was going on inside of the house? We're told that they ended up finding the mother at a different location. And so we're going to have more on what residents living nearby they have to say about this. That's coming up at 11 p.m. Victor Williams, local.
That is insane. Now we're going to jump right into it. It looks like she was appeared in court. So we're going to jump right over to that video so actually see what she looks like. This is crazy, but let's jump right into it.
I want you to look at this. She was saved in one of her kids' phones as world's greatest mom. And then in her phone, she had them saved as my oldest, kid 1, and kid 2.
That is crazy.
It's a case that sparked national headlines, and now the Pontiac mother accused of abusing her children will now head to trial. On Valentine's Day, Oakland County Sheriff's deputies discovered the children living inside this home.
On Valentine's Day?
As Priya Mann shows us, prosecutors say for years, the siblings only communicated with their mom via text.
Prosecutors called 4 witnesses to the stand, and for the first time, we learned new details about what deputies encountered when they walked into that Pontiac home, where prosecutors say the children had lived alone in horrific conditions for years. I mean,
she's smiling. Oh my God! Back it up.
I want you to look at this.
She is smiling. Oh, let's come on now. She is.
The children had lived alone in horrific conditions for years.
She is smiling. Abandon your kid, you're arrested, dressed out. Abandon your kid for years. They living in squalor. It's crazy.
And we want to warn viewers, some of the details might be disturbing.
Scum.
Thought was we were checking the apartment for a dead body.
The stench was so strong, deputies were stunned to find 3 frightened kids hiding behind locked doors.
They were just crying, couldn't really understand what they were trying to say.
Deputy Curtis said the home was unlivable.
There were just trash out everywhere, feces and cobwebs throughout the entire downstairs.
Prosecutors say the children had not seen or touched their mother in years and communicated primarily.
What is she taking notes about?
Via text.
They would ask, and then she would respond, I don't have the money for that, or maybe next week. She would delay things, put them off.
After the children had been found, Kelly Bryant voluntarily showed up at the police station.
Her appearance was the most surprising thing about it. Her hair was done. She was wearing what appeared to be new clothes that were clean. She had long fake nails. We're
gonna back that up. We gotta back it up just a tad. Now look at this. She got brand new. Is that hair? I don't know if that's that wig glue. Brand new wig, fresh clothes, and the kids were abandoned are in the house, covered in fecal matter, living on pizza and whatever food you drop off once a week. Never seeing the outside world, not going to school, barely can talk, scared and traumatized. Definitely got some disease, some kind of like health problems. That is crazy.
And to see the contradiction between what I observed all 3 of her children to look in their appearance when I arrived on scene to then see her in her condition was somewhat jarring.
The defense argued the children had normal BMIs and were articulate when questioned by police. Prosecutors say the kids did not know how to flush a toilet or use a toothbrush. During the police interview, Detective Brish said Bryant told police she had...
What do you mean you don't know how to use a toothbrush? Don't know how to flush the toilet? Crazy.
Sacrificed the kids for herself and was focused on her own fate.
And for her to be primarily concerned about her own well-being or her future, it was bothersome.
And Kelly Bryant will go to trial facing 3 counts of first-degree child abuse. She's also facing 3 counts of welfare fraud. She waived her right to an exam. No date has been set in either case. In Pontiac.
Absolutely insane. The mother deserves to be put away for a while. That is crazy. The kids are permanently scarred. They are going to be permanently scarred, need a lot of help. She out there got a makeup done. She came in more concerned about herself and not barely seeing the kids. That is insane. That is truly insane. I can't. No words about it, but I'm gonna keep everybody updated on what's exactly happening. When actually she goes through her trial and they come up with a verdict. If the verdict is anything but guilty, I don't know what's happening with the legal system anymore. But that is insane. Truly insane. Take care of your kids. Truly, if you we were just watching and talking about the people who they was blowing up centers because they didn't want to be here and they didn't give consent. So we need to just take care of our kids. You have them. It's your responsibility. You can't put them off on anybody. You can't let them take care of themselves, especially because look at them. They don't know how to flush the toilet. That is crazy. That is absolutely crazy. Now we're gonna get into some South Dallas street racing. So it looks like some people are wanted for street racing, but we're gonna jump right into that and see what this is all talking about.
A $5,000 reward is being offered for the woman who caused a deadly street racing crash in South Dallas. Police have video, and they want to know if you recognize her. Good evening, I'm Clarice Tinsley. That deadly crash happened on Mother's Day. Another woman who was street racing is already charged in the crime. Fox 4 Sean Rabb has video of the driver detectives are looking for.
We are in South Dallas on 2nd Avenue at Garden Lane. This is Detective Sammy Shaw, Dallas Police Vehicular Crimes Unit. And Detective, if you would, sir, tell me what happened here on
May the 11th, on Mother's Day, at about 7:40 in the evening. Mr. Medina was driving his Nissan Frontier.
That's Jose Medina. He was going home from work?
Yes, coming home from work.
What happened, sir?
You have a Ford Fusion heading northbound, 5000 block of 2nd Avenue, racing a black 2006 Cadillac. They collided with each other, and the Ford Fusion went into the southbound lanes, and that's where Mr. Medina hit head-on with the Ford Fusion, and he died from the accident.
Now, you have the driver of that Ford Fusion, Khadijah Jackson.
Yes.
She's in jail.
Yes, Khadijah Jackson, she's in jail. She was charged with 6 felony offenses. The black Cadillac continued driving north and turned left on Gold Spear.
Let somebody out.
And you see all the occupants in the vehicle get out and run back towards the scene, we believe.
Who is that?
But they don't stop to try to help.
Correct.
You need somebody to help you.
Was that a kid in the car?
Yes, sir.
You know people know who was driving that car.
Of course they know.
There's people that know that.
In this neighborhood.
Yes.
And they know where she is right now.
Yes, they do.
Deserves to be in jail. Simple as that. Simple as that. Deserves to be in jail. There ain't no way.
I want them to call me or text me. You know, my phone number is 214-608-7813. My email is sammy.shaw@dallaspolice.gov.
All right, it's an 06 black CTS with damage to the left rear.
That's right.
There was a woman racing. So you had 2 women racing on Mother's Day, and they caused the death of an innocent man. Know the car, you know where it is, at a body shop or in somebody's garage. You know where this woman is. She lives
It's
in this
definitely in
neighborhood.
somebody's
Get at Detective
garage.
Sammy Shaw. Get at him, text him, or call him, or email him. But help solve this crime, this vehicular crime that took the life of an innocent man street racing on Mother's Day.
Street racing on Mother's Day is crazy in itself. 2 women. It looked like, hold on, let's back that up a little bit, because I definitely felt like I seen a kid in the car. Where is it? Right here.
Spear, and you see all the occupants in the vehicle get out and run back.
Look at that. That is definitely a child. I might be. I can't see anything, but that looks to me like a child in the car. That is crazy.
Towards the scene, we believe.
But they don't stop to try to help.
Taken off. You see them? Look at them. She's in a full stride trying to get up out of there. Trying to have fun on Mother's Day. Taking an innocent man's life is crazy. Yeah. Yeah, hopefully these ladies are found and put behind bars, or the driver put, well, I'm assuming they can. Can you tell who got out of the car first? Let's see.
Get out and run back to on Gold Jackson. She's in jail.
See if we can see who gets out the driver's side.
The black Cadillac continued driving north and turned left on Gold Spear, and you see all the occupants in the vehicle get out and run back towards the scene, we believe.
But they don't stop to try to help.
No, it didn't show who actually was driving. That is insane. That is on Mother's Day with a looks like a kid in the car. That is absolutely diabolical. Diabolical. Killed an innocent man trying to street race. Someone's already caught the one driver, but gotta catch these last, I'm assuming 3 now, because they're all going to be, no matter the driver, the one is guilty by in the car because they didn't tell nobody. Only way you could have got out of that if he wasn't driving is you call the police immediately. Like, if you can't control where they take the car, but as soon as you get out there, you can call them. Yeah, that's crazy. Now, that is crazy. The last thing we want to get into, so the last thing we're going to get into today is a Metro teacher was grooming a student. So we're going to jump into that and see what all that was talking about. So, yeah, it's crazy. You can't... Some teachers, you've been seeing, I don't know what it is, but you've been seeing a lot of, not a lot, but teachers having essay with students. It's crazy. You can't, and I can't say anything crazy because I know when I was a high school student, especially a high school student, I don't really know about middle school, but when I was a high school student, I'm not gonna lie and say, especially as a guy, I was like, oh yeah, that teacher is very attractive. Yeah, we definitely said that. We definitely was like, oh yeah, well, who's the most attractive? Yeah, I'll do some crazy stuff. But yeah, still a crime no matter what happens. If the teacher goes down with it, it's a crime. Deserve to be locked up. But let's jump right into the video. Let's finish it up. Remember, this is AC Reviews the World. Remember to like and subscribe. And let's review the world together. But let's get right into this last video for today. Oh. Gotta stop the mute.
It was arraigned this afternoon on multiple charges. Fox News' Camille Amiri joining us live from Highland Park Justice Center there with the very latest. Camille.
Yeah, we just wrapped up a press conference at 4 o'clock here at the police department. We learned a lot about this case, absolutely horrific details. We're going to take a look at some video of the arraignment and the picture of Vincent Weaver, the 29-year-old teacher who allegedly sexually...
I wanted to pause it so everybody can see. This is the Highlands Park teacher who was accused of essay.
assaulted a 12-year-old student over a
12 years old? Nah, boy, you about to get toe up in prison. Boy, it's over with.
Month period of time happening at George Washington Carver Academy on school grounds, according to police. Happening, like I said, over a 4-month period.
Where are the parents?
The initial tip came in. The victim initially reported it on May 15th.
The victim reported.
Then they were able to arrest him literally 24 hours later.
They said it was 3 or 4 months?
Been suspended from school. The teacher had been suspended from teaching on May 2nd on an unrelated incident when police say that he had a sex toy fall out of his school bag. So keep in mind, he'd been suspended May 2nd. Then the complaint came in May 15th.
That is great. A sex toy fall out of his bag at school? Diabolical. Throw him in jail.
He had not been in the school since then and then arrested on May 16th. Take a listen to the charges.
Today, the suspect, Vincent Weaver, was charged with criminal sexual conduct in the first degree, 1 count, 2 counts of criminal sexual conduct in the second degree, and misdemeanor indecent exposure. He was given a bond today by the 30th District Court of $250,000 cash or surety.
Well,
And in the event that he is able to bond out, he's required to wear a GPS tether.
Okay, good. Yeah, because remember, bond, no matter what the bond is 10%. So he had to get 10% to get out. But yeah, it's good they told him to get him a GPS because this man needs to be watched 24/7.
And interesting fact about this teacher. He's a dance teacher, and there was a performance on May 16th that he was a big part of, the police said, and he was told he could not come because, of course, he had been suspended on May 2nd. But police say he dressed up like an elderly woman wearing a wig and glasses and a mask and heavy clothes to disguise himself just so he could go to that dance performance on May 16th, and that's when he was arrested. Of course, we're going to have a lot more on this story coming up at 6 and 10, but we
dressed up as an elderly woman just to get to the dance recital? Yeah, boy, they don't like pedophiles in jail, boy. You about to...
do want to tell you that police believe there could be more victims, and if that is the case, they want them to come forward and call Highland Park Police. Reporting live in Highland Park, Camila Mary, Fox 2 News.
Well, with what you just said, I'm sure a lot of people at home are wondering exactly what they just heard. Very odd. But with that being said, do police suspect that this was happening, these alleged acts at the school?
Yeah, I mean, that was one of the questions we did ask. They didn't want to talk about whether the student was a male or female. We did get the age out as 12 years old, as I reported. But saying that this happened
wasn't even
on
thinking
school
about that.
grounds.
It's a new time.
I don't know if
male
it happened in
male or female
classes after school, but there was definitely a grooming process. This teacher, police say, was very well liked, very popular, very nice, very trusted. And of course, we do know from covering these stories that that's often how they gain the trust of these students, because they are just everybody's friend and so well liked.
Everybody's
and of course,
friend.
you saw in that mugshot too the flowery blouse. I believe that was part of his costume when he was dressed as an elderly woman to go to this dance performance. So just a lot of layers to this one. Of course, the victim, how brave this victim is to come forward to tell his or her parents, and then for them to report. And police are really hoping that if there are other people out there watching, that they do the same thing. Taryn, back to you.
You gotta truly watch your kids. You don't know what's going to be happening. It's sickening that you have to think that someone in your school, in the school that you take your kids to, would do this. But sick people all around the world, both male and female, do it. But it's crazy to even think about. But I keep saying I will keep everybody updated on what's happening with this teacher. When he goes to trial and all that stuff, we need to see what happens, and we need to, Jesus. The world is getting crazier and crazier every day, it feels like. But all we can do is, what I say, review the world together. But remember, this is AC Reviews the World. Thank you for watching. Remember to like and subscribe. Follow me on YouTube. Subscribe to me on YouTube. Follow me on Instagram, Twitch, all that good stuff. But I'll get everything uploaded, all the videos, and y'all can break it all down. But I like to finish up everything with the good old intro. It's going to be the outro too, so we're going to call it the outro, the intro, same thing. But let's thank you for watching. Remember to like and subscribe. This AC Reviews the World again, but peace.